We got an offer without an office page called Yahoo 151. And they wrote the air swimmer. I always like the idea of you know, doing this in the air. I mean that you can technically do that when you free fall from high place. You can like do like that and like technically like, you know, get a little bit somewhere maybe. But I can swim in the air. You remind me of that one scene from superhero movie where like the Tom Cruise parody makes fun of Dragonfly because he cannot fly. The superhero Dragonfly. He's like, it's Dragonfly who cannot fly! And he just laughs and then he's like, I can fly. I can fly. And then it just immediately cuts to like, breaking news, Tom Cruise cannot fly. And just a picture of his dead body on the ground. Like, so you remind me of that moment. Like, I can swim in the air. I can swim in the air. And it just cut to like a fucking Discord message like hey, I'm Mechanic's father. Mechanic just tried to swim in the air and who would have guessed he can't. He can't do that. So you won't see him again. It's like, whoa, okay. Jesus. Because save. Special containment procedures. SCP-2836 is to remain secured in a standard humanoid containment cell equipped with a water-resistant high-rise ceiling. Communication with the subject outside of approved intervals is not advised. During said interactions, SCP-2836 is to be provided with a suitable covering for its mouth in order to speak clearly and maintain steady breathing. Imagine if I was swimming in the air though, I think scientists would immediately try to find you and experiment on you. Draw your blood. You'll be considered an SCP then, and then like, in our world, and you'll be contained, you'll be secure, contained, protected, and tested on non-stop. SCP-2836 is a male humanoid of relatively slender build, height measuring approximately 2 meters. The subject is in his mid to late 20s and is most often seen wearing black wetsuit with waterproof fingerless gloves. Subject on occasion has also seen wearing standard professional site 38 attire. SCP-2836 speaks fluent English with a faintly detectable accent from the southern United States. While usually docile, SCP-2836 seems to suffer from bouts of depression, at times resisting attempts at communicating with researchers. My dad would be the -1. Yeah. Well, I mean, would he? If he's normal, then he would not be a -1, right? Unless he can also swim in the air. Then yes, then he would be -1. Though most of the subject's attributes appear basically normal, SCP-2836 exhibits anomalous qualities in its method of self-transport. In any dry environment, the subject appears to be completely submerged in water and will seem to swim or float in mid-air. Characteristics of aquatic buoyancy affect all movement of the subject, thus making walking, running, or balancing on floors essential impossible. Additionally, the subject's hair will appear to waft in various directions as though affected by an aquatic environment despite the lack of such conditions. However, SCP-2836 has proven completely capable of normal breathing in these cases, though communication with the subject in dry areas has also been deemed impossible. All uttered speech will sound garbled and washed out as though being spoken underwater, causing instances of -1 to project from the subject's mouth. Bubbles. -1 appears to be inverted bubbles comprised of H2O and trapped within a layer of carbon dioxide, so it's like a water bubble instead of an air bubble. Exhaled by SCP-2836. This is the easiest thumbnail ever. Just take somebody who swims and put them in the air. This will inevitably burst as would normal bubbles, either in the air or after contact with a foreign object, but will release the entrapped water than CO2. So can I befriend? You cannot befriend him because it's not a sentient being. So no. You cannot befriend it, but you can play in it if you want to. Conversely, another set of anomalous attributes become apparent when SCP-2836 is actually submerged in water. In this state, SCP-2836 will suddenly succumb to conventional gravity. Previously impossible movements will be aptly performed as though being done in a waterless environment. Words spoken by SCP-2836 are also fully understandable in these conditions. However, the subject's ability to inhale ceases limiting the amount of phrases able to be said, as well as how long SCP-2836 can remain submerged before suffocating. SCP-2836 first came to the attention of the Foundation following a localized incident taking place near Florida. On June 2000, a mother, father, and young daughter were found dead and waterlogged on the shore of beach. The result of a boating accident that had occurred the previous night. The surviving older son was later discovered 2 to 3 miles down the beach, floating over the sand and sobbing uncontrollably, releasing large clouds of -1. Attempts at getting the son medical attention were only met with resistance, forcing him to swim well above the reach of people on the ground. When air support arrived, the son frantically escaped into the ocean, where he was able to somehow sprint away on the sandbars at full speed, only occasionally coming above the surface to breathe. Subsequent to amnesticizing all parties witnessing these phenomena, Foundation field agents stationed in the area were able to locate and detain the young man via surveillance drones. Open interview 4. Okay. The following is a video recording transcript of the 4th interview conducted with SCP-2836 since containment. Imagine seeing something through in the air towards you. I'll be confused. Very much so. And I would be terrified if it was actually like a... if it was like a great white shark that sees me. Is like... Have you seen that one Australian news clip where they see like you see a like big ass shark jumping out of the water, but like grab something for food, and so like it's like massive. So it jumped down and like crashed back into the water, and then it just cuts to the news anchor just going, and then like the other news anchor also like just full on shocked on how big the shark is. I'll show you after I read this SCP. Remind me after we finish this SCP to show you that clip, because then I can cut that away from the YouTube video. The following is a video recorded transcript of the 4th interview. Dr. Garrison, Site 38, advisor and presiding researcher of the subject. Begin playback 11:08 a.m. 7/12. Dr. Garrison enters the room and shuts the door behind him. Proceeds to take his seat. Good morning, SCP-2836. Directing his greeting upwards, SCP-2836 is seen doing the dead man's float approximately 6 meters off the floor of the interview room. No response. Wait a minute. Oh, it's a human. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. It's you can befriend him because it is a being. It's not a space. You can befriend him. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I guess befriend the guy. You will have some trouble understanding him though, because it's just gonna be like. That's all it's gonna sound like. Seen doing the dead man's float approximately 6 meters off the floor of the interview room. God, I got some in my eye. Need to check that afterwards as well. Would you care to join me down here at the table? I need to give you your mask so you can talk. It won't take very long, I promise. A brief pause occurs before a gobbled sigh from the SCP-2836, releasing a sizable cluster of -1. Subject slowly starts making its way towards Dr. Garrison. Thank you, whoops. Garrison is seen quickly moving his cup of coffee out of the way of a sudden rain of water droplets from -1 bursting at the ceiling. Huh. I'm getting good at that, aren't I? Oh, here you go. And the subject a rubber ventilation mask filled with water to enable communication. Subject nose is uncovered to allow breathing. Subject complies and puts on the ventilator. Careful, don't spill. Very good. Let me just start by asking, how are you feeling today? About the same. Happy, sad, somewhere in the middle. I don't really care to think about it much. Periodic breathing through the subject's nose can be heard. For the record, just give me a simple adjective. First thing that comes into your mind. Bored, I guess. Are you not satisfied with your accommodations? I'm just bored. Well, now I know this place can get a little dull after a while, but maybe I can help you talk to the other directors and make you a bit more comfortable. What do you think would make things less boring for you around here? No response from the subject for several seconds, just breathing. Any ideas? Subject shakes his head and is seen turning away from Dr. Garrison, seeming to lose interest in the interview. Subject slowly begins to float away from the table. Grabs onto the subject's arm. Now hold on, just stick around a little longer, please. He remains still for several seconds before weakly clasping the interview table. Re-anchor himself in front of Dr. Garrison. Now you can't expect me to believe that you have no interest whatsoever. I miss our boat. Being enthusiastically, but now we're getting somewhere. Please tell me all about your boat. SCP-28316, pushing his hair out of his face from the aquatic effect, nods gently at Dr. Garrison. My dad brought it when I was just a little kid. He decided to name it almost like it was a member of the family. Oh? And what did he name it? SCP-2836 falls silent. Do you remember? Jenna. After my mom. He had it engraved on the hull. How thoughtful. SCP-2836 stares blank at the table, breathing steadily. We spent a lot of time on the boat. I started to have dreams about it. There's dreams about? Dreams? About Jenna? No, not exactly. I would fall asleep during our trips. The wave would make me tired. I would feel like I was floating, and then that's how my dreams would feel. I see. It felt so real. Sometimes I dream about falling to the bottom of the ocean, and I feel my body hit the sand and snap awake. Oh, you're referring to a hypnic jerk? I don't know, but then came that night. I've seen him grasping the interview table tightly. Go ahead. I'm listening. I was so soundly asleep, dreaming about the waves. I didn't hear the huge storm that had hit us, and next thing I know, I'm thrown from the deck. I snap awake, and there I am, floating above the water, and I'm still dreaming. And your family? SCP-2836 looks downwards, visibly distressed. I tried to save them. The boat capsized. I moved as best I could towards them, but as soon as I got into the water, I just fell all the way to the bottom. Dr. Garrison adjusted his glasses. The wet sand broke my fall, and I just ran all the way to the damn shore. Passed out only to wake up later. Still flowing, spewing out liquid whenever I tried to talk, and scared stiff. And on top of everything else, I knew they were gone. My folks. Subject begins sobbing. My poor little sister. My deepest condolences for your loss. This is right around when we stepped in, isn't it? Subject nods, gradually regaining composure. Your organization is cold. I feel like a science project sometimes, but all things are considered, I guess I'd rather be cooped up here than out there where people try to grab me out of the air because they think something's wrong with me. It's not even my fault. Somebody pauses and looks up at the ceiling, visibly drained from crying. Good old Jenna. You've been beyond helpful today, SCP-2836. Thank you. Feel free to remove the ventilator and interview log, 11:22 AM. Imagine going through what SB did and all of a sudden you float in the air. Yeah, I would hate it. I would hate it because, like, as he says, like, everybody would look at you different. You could not go outside. You would have to, like, stay indoors. And whenever you have to order food all the time, you cannot go outside. And when you do order food, you have to, like, I think the best way to, like, communicate would learn sign language, because then everybody will be like, oh, okay, you're deaf, no problem. That way nobody's like, because, like, the only problem is his hair, right? Every time you order food, you have to, like, knot your hair up so it doesn't go, like, float all over the place. And then you just do sign language and you make sure you don't speak, otherwise the water bubble comes out of your mouth. And then one. Note from Dr. Garrison to Side 3. Take stuff. To entire research team, since my last interview with SCP-2836, I've come to the conclusion that his condition is psychologically rooted. Specifically, the influence of multiple hypnotic jerks during slumber seemed to have triggered some kind of an anomalous bodily reaction stemming from his subconscious. I request future testing be conducted on the subject's brain during the sleep process to confirm these hypotheses. Pending approval from the higher-ups, I may also have an idea that will make my subject more open to our visits. I have to pull a few strings, but it will be worth it. Dr. Garrison, side 38. I tell him to follow up. He's gonna get Jenna. 2 weeks after the interview, Dr. Garrison provided SCP-2836 with a recovered piece of the wrecked boat referred to as Jenna. The splintered fragments contain the letter G, E, and N slightly faded from saltwater damage. Subsequent inspection of the subject's chamber revealed the piece to be nestled in a vent grating roughly 4 meters above the floor, presumably for viewing purposes at the leisure of SCP-2836. Subject has since expressed contentment at a potential 5th interview with Dr. Garrison. That's cool. See, that's what I'm thinking though. Like, a lot more interview. This is now. We need a lot more interview who's like, hey, listen, let's try to like actually befriend some of these SCPs. We don't have to like be actual friends, but let's just be, you know. I give something to them, they give something back. Of course, not every SCP you can do that, because some SCPs you give something, the next thing you know, the whole fucking site's gone. Like a containment breach happens, but like sometimes with the human SCPs, you have to just approach them a little bit more friendly. He even did say like, this place is cold. I feel like a science project. So it's good to have Dr. Garrison be like, okay, let me just make this a bit more friendly. I'm gonna be right back because I have something in my eye. Actually, no. Before I go, let me show you the news anchor clip.